The Big H Podcast, tune in now. Conversations that'll wow. Laugh and learn, stay a while. Let's explore that Hilton style. From the highs to the lows, every story just explodes. Mike's got questions on the go, diving deep from head to toe. Every week the guests align, sharing moments so divine. Stay with us, the pace is fine. Every episode you'll find. The Big H Podcast, tune in now. Conversations that'll wow. Laugh and learn, stay a while. Let's explore that Hilton style.
Well, hello, this is Mike Hayes of the Big H Podcast. I have Dan Hurlimann of HD Performance with me. Dan, it's great to have you with me.
Appreciate you having me. Pleasure.
Truth be told, back in the day, you played for me on a baseball team. Tell us a little bit, well, refresh my memory because it's been a little bit. Was it Mod A, ninth grade? What was that?
That was Mod B.
Mod B, okay.
I was seventh grader.
So you're a seventh grader?
Seventh grade, yeah.
And position-wise, I think I remember you were a catcher, right?
No, you had me at shortstop.
Oh.
I played a little bit on the left side, so short and third.
Okay.
I was there, and then I probably caught some games.
Yeah.
But it was between me and, if you remember the name, Alex Black.
I do.
Yeah.
I do.
He was the catcher.
Because you also played hockey, correct?
Yep. So same thing, kind of growing up. Played the hockey route, so it was hockey, baseball. Both sides for Hilton there. So.
Mm-hmm. When you played for me, how'd you hit? I mean, I've got all the stats up in my attic, but I forget.
I don't know, like 600 hitters.
One of the things I do remember is you had a good glove and everything, and I think maybe it's that hockey in you and stuff. So
right, and then that's that catcher aspect of things too. Because hockey, we played goalie.
Alex Black, did he go on to play catcher in college and stuff?
He did not.
Okay.
No, but we were the best of buds growing up. So yeah, he was me and him were the baseball guys.
And Gavin was his brother, who was the lefty, the thrower.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep. Another good baseball arm.
Yeah, bring him back. Bring him back to me. Well, congratulations on your recent wedding. Tell me a little bit about your bride.
Yeah. So yeah, married to Haley. Been together about 4 years now. So yeah, recently just got married in September. Great person. She's a crime analyst out in Rochester now, so she works long hours because she's pretty much set for I'm going to say more like the homicide part of Rochester. So she's a pretty busy person. And then she keeps me on my toes, keeps me motivated. So she's a pretty good person to have in my life.
Crime analyst. Wow. I think you're the first person I know that has a crime analyst. Yeah. So did she go to crime scenes and then evaluate evidence afterwards, or you?
So the way I like to explain it is she's pretty much a police officer, but she's the one that does it behind the desk. Okay. So whenever they have a suspect or needed information there, she's going to find out information, their whereabouts and where they were last, find other people that are related to them there and relay back to officers that are on the road to go ahead and kind of take care of them. So it's like a teamwork kind of thing.
Did she have to come up through the ranks of a police officer to do that, or?
No. So that was the reason why she chose this route, was because if she wanted to be a full-on detective or investigator, she would have to be a road patrol for about 5 years. So to kind of skip all that, she chose this route. So she goes to some scenes from time to time. But she's pretty much, in the office, kind of behind the computer, making sure things are functioning right, and going back and forth with the officers on the road. So I like her in the office, to say the least. Yeah.
A little bit safer.
Right.
Interesting in career she's got going. I bet she has some interesting tales to tell you when she gets home.
She has some different stories to say.
Well,
yeah.
Keep up the good work there.
Well, yeah.
Haley is her name?
Haley. Yep.
All right. Now, before we get to HD Performance, again, I knew you as a 7th and 8th grader. Talk a little bit about what your high school years were like, your sports, your hobbies, your friendships at Hilton High School. If you could first refresh my memory, what year did you graduate, Hilton?
Graduated 2010.
Okay, and so the 2007 through 10. What were you up to?
Yeah, so pretty much my whole high school career, we were hockey and baseball, going through the whole thing. On the top of that, we did a bunch of, believe it or not, I was a musical guy.
Mm-hmm.
So I did the chorus. We did 2 theater productions there, one High School Musical, and the other one was Grease.
Mm-hmm.
So I was a part of those as well. So pretty much 2 different sides of the spectrum of high school, a sports guy, and the musical side of things as well. Friends wise, I had a very tight knit group, pretty much kind of tried my best to keep to myself as best as I could.
Mm-hmm.
Truly focused on myself and my sports and my career, really. Just trying to be the best person I can be in the high school realm things. It was a humbling experience, kind of going back and forth through both the musical and sports parts of things, but kind of made me into the person I am today.
So the musicals, were you a singer, dancer? Like, what was
I was
that?
a singer.
Okay.
Yeah.
And what was your soprano? What was your?
I was a tenor.
You were a tenor?
A tenor, yep.
Okay.
Yep.
Because, sometimes people say, oh, you can't mix like athletes and did you ever face any of that ribbing or joking from your buddies?
Plenty of
Like,
times.
oh, you got to go sing in the Glee Club and stuff like that.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I did.
Yeah.
Yep. You hit the nail on the head. I got a lot of backlash from a couple of my other buddies.
Mhm.
They're just giving me a hard time in what it was. So dealt with that a little bit going into it, but I enjoyed it. It was a different side of me that not many people really knew about.
Yeah, I never knew about it till now. I'll tell you the truth.
Yeah, so I had the sports captain title kind of guy, but behind the scenes, I really did enjoy singing and being in productions, and in that group of people I was with, I was pretty close with, so it was a pretty cool experience.
High School Musical in Greece.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Who was your production leader during those, or your director?
Oh
Remember?
my goodness.
Don't remember. That's okay.
I don't.
Okay.
I don't remember him. I know. My teacher was Nick Williams. He was my chorus guy, and then Adam Clock obviously was the chorus man as well. But the guy who ran the productions, I couldn't. Oh my gosh!
Talk to me a little bit about the time element put into putting together one of those productions, because my wife and daughter, they love to go to those productions, and they're really well put on. And
it was a tough schedule because, for example, we would do a lot of productions in the winter. Which means it kind of collided with hockey season. So after school, we were doing rehearsal from literally 2:30 to probably 4:30, 5 o'clock. And then in those events there, sometimes I'd have to skip rehearsal to go to hockey practice, or vice versa, skip practice, go to the musical. So that was a bunch of time constraints there and whatnot, but usually worked out where I could do rehearsal till about 5 and then go to practice afterwards, seeing that we were at Lakeshore. So sometimes we had the evening slots, which worked out pretty good. Yeah.
Did you play an instrument or no?
No, middle or elementary school, I drummed for a little bit there, but then when we got to Martin Williams, it was either instrument or sing. Just went with that singing part of it, and then pretty much took it all the way to my senior year. Yeah.
Where'd you attend elementary school?
I was in Northwood.
You were in Northwood?
Yep.
Any of the teachers there that you recall that made a good impression on you, they're influential to you?
I didn't have her, but she was next to me, and it was Ori Mee's wife, Pat me. She was fantastic, and ever since she had my sister, didn't have me, but had my brother. So growing up with them at such a young age, because from baseball, I'd go to Ori's baseball camps over the summer, so Pat was there. So every time that she was connected to my class in the Northwood there, I just run over, say hi, hello, and she'd have a brief conversation of how the day's going. So she was pretty influential.
Okay.
Yeah.
Talking a little bit, you brought up about your family. Talk a little bit about your mom, dad, and your siblings.
Yeah. So my dad, kind of a self-made man. Started as a Kodak guy from years on end when we were just little kids. Grew up to be having help with his own financial firm there. So he built that from scratch, and kind of like me, self-made kind of person. And I have pretty much all my credit to where I am today based off of him, just watching his work, his time, his effort, that he did to build his success. So I'm only just trying to follow his footsteps. And then my mother, oh my goodness, the saint she is, dealing with everything kind of growing up with me, my brother, and my sister. We'd always fight going back and forth when we were kids, and dad was working, so mom had to put us in our place. So she's been through the ringer a few times, but love her to death. She's been fantastic through this journey we've been part of. And then my older sister Alyssa, she is now actually a middle school teacher at Merriam-Williams.
Okay.
So she's still a part of the system. She has a great husband, Mike, with her 2 kids, Olivia and Michaela. They've been a blast, and it's been a blessing to have those, my 2 nieces in my life. And then finally my little brother, Brian, kind of my partner in crime, really. Grew up with him, playing the same sports. I did hockey, he did hockey. I did baseball, he did baseball. So that was pretty cool to see, kind of growing up into it. In college, he chose the hockey route. I finished as the baseball guy. And circles come to an end at some point there, but we always meet at the same spot. So I finished at Brockport. He went to Brockport to finish too, which was pretty cool to see our careers go different paths and still meet at the same spot. So
what did your mom teach when she was in school?
So she was a physical therapist.
Okay.
Yep.
And then dad, did he attend college, or you said
he did?
Okay.
He did. He went to UB.
All right.
He went to UB.
And then brother Brian went to
graduated from Brockport.
Brockport is now a state trooper. Is that correct?
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
All right.
Yep.
Good. It sounds like the family's doing well.
Doing well.
Your sister, what does she teach at Merton Williams? Like, what's her content area?
She is a math teacher.
Math teacher?
Yep. Yep. She's always been good with numbers.
Mm-hmm.
As opposed to my brother and I. We
really?
we stay away from those. Yeah. Yeah.
Going through school, were you a good student? How would you describe yourself as a student?
No, I was good. B student,
Mm-hmm.
really. I wasn't the best test taker in the world, so I knew I had to get my homework done on time and all my assignments completed. So I took advantage of that as best as I could, just because I was a kid that just really couldn't sit still and take tests. So I knew I was going to have to do well in my projects and papers to keep the grades up.
Would you describe yourself as ADD, ADHD?
Yeah, I can't stop. I can't sit around too long, so ADHD.
I mean, that's okay.
I'm a busy man.
I do recall that when I had you as an athlete, you were similar to that.
Right.
And someone's very close to me, she once told me, I see a lot of hockey players that are really undiagnosed ADD or ADHD just because they're used to that swift moving and stuff like that, the puck and everything.
And that's just it. That's why I'm in the job I'm in now, is just because it's something where I can stay on my feet for good 8-10 hours a day. If I sit at home, if I was sitting in an office, I'd be twiddling around, moving my fingers around, not really sure what to do. I have to move around. So I probably would have went mind crazy if I did an office job. Yeah.
Well, you look completely controlled and everything. So
I'm trying to be.
Just chilling out there and
taking
everything.
out there. Yep.
Going a bit now. So you're at Brockport, and what did you major in there?
So Brockport, we did sports management.
Okay.
Actually, with a minor in coaching.
Okay.
So sports management, just kind of, I wanted to have a front office job. My goal was to work with a professional sports team of some standpoint. And with the minor in coaching, I just really enjoyed, in a sense, of teaching and coaching and being part of kind of everything that I've learned. So picked up a minor in coaching as well, and made for some fun classes too. Yeah. We played volleyball, kickball there, and some softball action there. So a few of my buddies were in the same minor as me, so it was good to hang out with them.
Did you live on campus or at home? Or
I did. I lived on campus. We stayed in an apartment with one of my best friends still today for a little bit there, and then I moved down to Main Street in another apartment as well with the same roommate. Yeah.
Did you say you played baseball in college?
Yep.
Okay.
Yep. So we finished our career actually at SUNY Brockport, but I was fortunate enough to get a scholarship to Youngstown State University for my first few years. So right out of high school, that's where he went, which is kind of like a small end school out in Ohio. Yeah. So that was a blast. Another great time, another great experience. And still some of my best friends are out there. I still talk to them from time to time, and it's like we never really lost contact. whenever we see each other. It's pretty fun.
Okay, so you went to Youngstown
Mhm.
first, and then you transferred to Brockport State?
I did.
Okay.
Yep.
All right. What were the differences between Youngstown and Brockport State,
Yeah. So
academically or athletically?
yeah, I mean, athletically, it was a pretty big turnaround difference in a sense of Youngstown was a D1 program, and then SUNY Brockport was D3, and I say it was a little bit of difference in the sense of the commitment level. My freshman sophomore year, we had 4-time-a-week lifts at 6 a.m.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of waking up and getting the grind in for the weight room, and then by 8 o'clock, you had to go to all your classes from 8:30 to 12. Then you have your hitting groups from 1 to 2, then team practice from 3 to 5. Then I got to find time to get all my homework done. So that was an experience as well, just a very big adjustment of what I had to get done and prioritize myself. Whereas went to Brockport, didn't really have team lifts, just kind of more on your own.
Mm-hmm.
Team practice only from 2:30 to 7, so longer days on the field. But I like that in a sense because it was easy for me to build relationships with teammates just to say, hey, do you want to get some extra reps in the cage? Hey, do you want to go to the weight room and get a little bit of a lift in? Something along those lines. So it was pretty cool to kind of build a culture when I learned from Youngstown and bring it over to Brockport, which is a pretty great experience. And no disrespect to Brockport, that was one of my favorite program to be a part of the last 2 years. It was an absolute blast and a blessing.
Who is your coach at Brockport?
Justin Beach.
Okay.
Justin Beach. He's still the head guy there.
Uh-huh.
And then, ironically enough, Orimi was one of the assistant head coaches.
Okay.
There. So came right back to him. Had a connection right from the beginning. So that's why I chose Brockport to transfer to from Youngstown. So having that connection with him and not really knowing anybody in the Brockport program, he was a nice, back screen to have to somebody to talk to if ever I needed it. Yeah.
Talk a little bit about your high school days in athletics. What was your high school baseball experience like?
Yeah, high school baseball. As soon as you wrapped up hockey, I had no time to transition. So it was from one sport to the next. And then, head coach was Jeff Murphy. And as soon as March 1st hit, we were ready to go for 6 a.m. We did 6 a.m. hitting before school. It was me and maybe 4 other people, but Coach Murphy was there to throw us the BP, drop the cages down, and then we go right to class. And then just because I like to be a perfectionist, so I knew I haven't swung a bat in 4 or 5 months because I was in hockey mode. So me and a few buddies would go hit just to get the bats back to where they were, just to try to get ready to go for season. Just because we would go on our spring trip in the next 3-4 weeks, and I had to be ready. So that was a pretty cool experience. Our trips going on there. Started my varsity year as a sophomore, did it all the way to my senior year, and same routine. Hockey would end, baseball would pick right up, and then as soon as high school season would end, we'd stay in the baseball realm of things until hockey picked back up in August. I'd shut off hockey or baseball mode and go right to hockey mode. So 2 different kind of people to train for. Yeah.
What was some of the successes you had in baseball?
Yes. So for Section 5, I was fortunate enough to make AGR my senior year, to be a part of that program as a 2010 AGR player. And then, let's see, what else did I have?
So you probably made all-county.
Yeah, I was an all-county player junior, senior year. Yep, all-county player. And then my sophomore year, 2008, that was our state title run team.
Okay.
So that was an unbelievable experience. I was the only sophomore on the team there. And then, playing with those guys was pretty special in a sense of, wow, look at all this work that these guys are putting in outside. So John Schwinn, Jeff Allen were all guys that kind of really took me under their wing as the youngest player to say, hey, this is what we're doing. This is how we're going to do it. And this is how we're going to be successful as a team. And it showed for itself. We unfortunately lost in the state semifinals, but what a group to be a part of. And kind of put me in my shoes of where we're supposed to be and how I should run the program kind of moving forward junior, senior year. So I just try to keep that tradition alive for them. Yeah.
I totally didn't know that you were part of that group.
Yep.
They were exceptional. And so obviously Coach Murphy. What positions did you play when you played high school baseball?
Yeah. So I was, my sophomore year, I was a third baseman. and then junior, senior year, I played shortstop.
Okay.
Shortstop, which I was recruited for Youngstown, which put me in the outfield at Youngstown.
Okay.
Just because it was easier to kind of move around, pretty easy to adapt. But yeah, Murph had me at the sixth spot there at short. So kudos to him there, because that was obviously my favorite position to be a part of, just kind of being that guy, Derek Jeter being an idol. So try to play his smooth glove position as best I could as him.
How'd you hit? You hit the ball well too?
Hit well. Sophomore year was a little bit of a struggle. Probably only a 200 hitter there. But then junior, senior year, we finished, I was 380 junior year, and then I think 460. I know this actually. It's 461 my senior year, because going back to Alex Black, he beat me by 1. He was 462.
Okay.
Yeah. So that's why I remember that number vividly.
Talk a little bit more about the guys you played with, like the John Schwinn and Jeff Allen. I mean, obviously, Schwinn played professional.
Right. Yeah, I mean, just a different breed. Going back to my sophomore year, that team was the work ethic team. They held everybody accountable. Don't be late. Anybody that was late, they would get on them. They were teammates, and it's not because they were mad or something that Murph was going to make him run as a team. It was more of, we're trying to put together something here. And those guys, Jeff Allen, John Schwinn, really, really set the bar high on how the program should be ran by the seniors. And then same thing kind of carried over from my junior year there. Gavin Black and Jake Coleman kind of stepped in those realms of holding everybody accountable. I even, got under the bar there as a junior, just trying to make sure that people were showing up to that 6 a.m. hitting that not many people want to wake up for.
Exactly.
So those names are the ones that stick out the most. But it's just because they wanted what's best for the program, and we knew that we wanted to succeed and go as far as we probably, and as far as we did. We almost went back to back. So sophomore to junior year, lost in the sectional finals my junior year. And then unfortunately my senior year just didn't have, probably as much of the talent as we did my sophomore, junior year. So we came up pretty short. I think we lost first or second round in the sectionals that year. So, but nonetheless, an unbelievable experience to be a part of the Hilton program.
Hockey-wise, tell me a little bit about the coaches, players, and your experience there.
Yeah, so I started varsity hockey my freshman year. And I did all 4 years under John Farnham. And from what I'm told, it was his last year when I graduated in 2010. So I was fortunate enough to have him. But Chris Monfiletto was my assistant, who is now the head coach now, along with Dave Messbauer. So he's still coaching as well. Different in a sense of culture from hockey to baseball. Not as many people as in a sense of you got to be in practice on time and so forth, but it was more of a brotherhood in a sense of, messing around with each other, building camaraderie, becoming a, like I said, brotherly love is the best way to really say it as a hockey player. Those are my boys, and I go to battle for them from freshman year all the way to senior year. Team wise, there we were a little bit above the pack. We were pretty good. We would always kind of get stuck playing the Pittsford or the Fairport or the Penfield, the second or third round, which is pretty around for some good hockey programs there. So we'd always come up short in that, aspect of things. But the coaches were a little bit tougher, pass the puck to the stick, don't miss this press, hit the net. So they would install that into us there. And as a goalie, my biggest goal was to not let that happen, so kind of make my guys compete a little bit more. So that was the best that I could do for them to, make them better players to compete with one another. And then at the end of the day is, like I said, brotherhood at best.
Name some of those couple guys maybe that when you were a senior that you remember playing with.
Okay, yeah. So when I was a senior for high school, we had my brother, so he was the junior, and then we had some studs: Corey Gursky, Corey Sherman, and then a couple of guys from my class. Andrew Harris was very good. He was fun to play with, and then the power hitter. Not many people mention his name's Dom Camilacci.
Yeah.
he would shoot well, could pass the puck, but when he was going full straight on the ice, man, watch out because he will deck you. Yeah. So he was pretty cool to be a part of there.
Okay.
But yeah, we had some young, skilled guys on our team. The freshman at the time, his name was Joe Palumbo.
Mhm.
Absolute stud. So, kind of watching those young kids, Gursky, Sherman, and Palumbo play, and them being a part of our program only made us better. Yeah.
Did you make any all-league teams, any of those years?
I was an all-county player.
Okay.
I was an all-county player. And then my senior year, got invited to play in the Scotty Bowman Cup, which is the best of Rochester and Buffalo. So they'll play each other at the Sabres Arena out in Buffalo there. So that was a pretty cool experience. 3 goalies, and then would be a part of it. So to be representing the Rochester team there was pretty special.
I should have done better research, but are you in the Hilton Athletic Hall of Fame?
I am not.
You are not?
No.
Okay, well, that might be a little plug here or something, but yeah, you sound like a pretty good resume there. And I always think, not only your high school athletic achievements, Division I, Division III baseball, but the performance aspect, you're adding more to the athletic,
Right.
But that's just, which we're going to get into now.
Sure.
So you're at Brockport. You're in sports marketing, is it?
Yep.
And then how did you end up, we talked off air about sliding into the performance aspect. Talk for as long as you want and how that you got going in that.
And how we got into performance stuff? Well, so let's...
And then actually, what is it?
Yeah, so to get me in the road of it, it was probably my senior year. I was lifting in Youngstown and then a little bit at Brockport, but never really bought into it, I guess you could say. And so my senior year, unfortunately, I was at Brockport, I was a shortstop third baseman. And so my senior year, the Coach Beach pulled me aside, and we unfortunately had one of our players kicked off the team, and it was our first baseman. So he reached out and asked if I'd be okay playing first base. I go, yeah, no problem. I'll play first. I'll be team player. We got some young guys kind of coming through the system there to play in the left side of the field. So I'm like, yeah, no problem. To which then my coach, one of my assistant coaches at the time, his name Ryan Skelly, was like, all right, well, you're at first base. We should go put some weight on.
Mm-hmm.
Like, all right, you want to do that? He's like, we're going to hit the weight room hard. Okay. So, so all off season for Brockport, me and Skelly would go work out, and Skelly is 6'5", 260 pounds, 4% body fat, just a absolute beast. And he would take me through the system and what he did, and I put on probably 15 pounds in the matter of 5 months.
Okay.
And had the best senior year I could think of. I think I tied the triples record at Brockport.
I'm sorry. Can we go backwards? Tell me a little bit about your success at Brockport State. I forgot to.
Oh yeah, so
and then we'll get back.
Yeah. So, junior year, nothing too much to accolade for. Just a middle of the pack player, really. 300 hitter, nothing too crazy. But then everything stood out my senior year, accolades wise, just because going back to the lifting, I was senior year. I was ECAC. First team All Rawlings player, the ABC first team player, first team SUNYAC first baseman, and I think I was third team All Region.
No kidding. Oh, that's really good.
Yeah.
And you said you broke a record for triples?
So broke the triples record for in season at 7, and then the home run record I believe was 10 because they're using those cheap Beezer bats. The ones that would just slingshot it right off there. I had 8 or 9.
No.
But being the bigger guy at first base, it was nice to kind of break the triples record. If I could just have lifted and gained 20 pounds over the 5 months there, those triples would have been home runs. But nonetheless, my performance just increased drastically, and I put
with 15 pounds of weight.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
But all moving weight too, because I was still digging things out. I wasn't getting any slower. And then that's when I really bought into it of, wow, this is great. I feel awesome. I feel fantastic. I'm hitting bombs, running fast, playing a great first base. So kind of coming off of Brockport, I had 2 options. So Ori gave me an opportunity to be a GA at Toledo with his son, Corey.
So that's a grad assistant, correct?
Grad assistant. Yep, grad assistant. Or I had an opportunity to be an intern at a gym out in Pittsburgh called Wanna Get Fast. So I weighed the pros and cons, and I mean, hey, what do I want to do? Do I want to be a coach, hopefully, in the near future, or do I want to kind of see through this, performance space? So I graduated Brockport, and then obviously we chose the performance base, not really knowing much about it.
Mm-hmm.
And I was pretty straightforward with them. I said, hey, this is my degree. It's in sports marketing, but I enjoy lifting. I enjoy learning. I got a big part of it in 1 year ago. So if you're interested, I'd love to be your intern. He goes, okay, no problem. We'll teach
Who
you
was the
everything.
guy's name?
So his name was Dan Fichter, who's still the high school head
Oh
coach
my
at
gosh,
Veronica
yeah, he's the football coach.
Yep.
Oh,
Yep.
okay.
So he
Now
owns, he owns Want to Get Fast.
All right.
And he's to this day one of the mentors for me, just because his knowledge and how they kind of took me under their wing to understand the mechanics. Dan's big into neuro-based training,
Mm-hmm.
so brain to muscle connection. So kind of learning his ins and outs all summer long was, a true blessing. And then I performed well enough to where they offered me a job, and then I got to be a part of that for about 3 more years. Just kind of learning the ins and outs, working with, elite high school and college athletes. So I was fortunate enough to even work with a few professional players as well. The Bostic brothers, Benny Bostic,
Mm-hmm.
And then Chris played for the Athletics a little bit. And then the hockey realm of things, worked with 2 NHL guys, Clark MacArthur and Shane Prince, back in the day, which was another awesome experience. Just seeing who you can work with and how these guys work as pros compared to the high school mindset it's unique, and it's very different. So I learned a lot from just watching those guys and how Dan trained them and how I could help and be a part of it. Fast forward to 2018, things kind of came to an end at Want to Get Fast, and not really sure what I wanted to do outside of that. So I kind of went back to the baseball routes of things, giving hitting lessons, fielding lessons, all the way out in Henrietta.
Who were you working for in that?
Oh, yep. So that was with Ryan Sullivan.
Yep.
Actually, Ryan Sullivan out of Black and White Baseball, it was called. So they gave me an opportunity to kind of jump shit from Want to Get Fast to Black and White Baseball. So we hopped off that ship and hopped onto the Black and White ship, and we were giving lessons, doing good. And then one thing turned to another, where I had an old client from Want to Get Fast reach out to me for a hitting lesson. So I'm like, all right, let's do a hitting lesson. That's no problem. Half hour. He came up to me with an interesting proposal. He was like, hey, can I book you for an hour, but give me half hour hitting, half hour speed and agility? And I said, yeah, that's no problem. I had maybe 12 clients at the time. So my next client walked in and was like, hey, what are you doing with that guy? I go, oh, you want a half hour speed and agility, half hour hitting? He goes, oh, can I do that? I'm like, yeah, no problem. Next thing we know, we're just doing speed and agility. We're just going cone to cone,
Right.
shuffle, movement-based stuff. And I'm like, man, I wonder if we can put a rack in the corner of this baseball place. Can we do something? So, and Ryan was like, yeah, dude, all for it. Let's do it. So we put one rack from Dick's Sporting Goods in there, and dumbbells up to, I think it was only 50s, whatever Dick's had on special. So we would do a 30-minute lift, and then we would hit for a half hour. Well, then one thing led to another, where I got to the point where I was just taking 12, 15 people and just training them one-on-one in a 10x10 box with the weights and the dumbbells, just one-on-one personal weight training. So then I'm like, all right, well, can I expand? Can I get a little bigger? So we were partnered. Our hitting facility was in Empire United Soccer. So I one day went over to their president and I said, hey, this is what I do. Somehow I turned into strength and conditioning. Don't know why, but we have a weight room. I was wondering if we could add more space, and I would love to work with your teams and programs. They had no questions. Like, let's do it. I'm like, wow, lucky. So then had to come up with a business name. If HD, it's just Dan Hurlimann flipped around.
I thought it was high definition.
Exactly right. So when I was trying to think of a name and a logo, this is all self-made. I had DH Performance, DH Fitness, something like that. I'm like, let me just switch these around. What's HD Performance? Oh, got a little ring to it. I think of HD as high definitions, clear performance. So that's what we did. We titled our name HD Performance. We expanded in that soccer facility from our little 10x10 box to maybe 1,200 square feet. We put 4 racks in there, and then Black and White even offered it to their clients as well. So we kind of branched off of Black and White. Now we're HD Performance. So they would get strength and conditioning half hour with me and then go to a lesson with black and white baseball. On top of that, we had all of Empire United Soccer. And this all happened in 1 year.
Wow.
1 year. Yeah, it was busy. It was busy.
So,
Fast forward to where we are now.
and so now your business is located where?
We are located in the Elmridge Center.
Elmridge Center.
Plaza. Yeah.
And how many people do you have working for you with you?
We have 2 employees.
Okay.
We keep it short staffed.
Uh-huh.
I'm the one that bounces around, wherever I need to be at the time. But I got a head trainer at our facility, and then we are currently partnered with Hilton High School and Kendall High School. So I have a trainer at Kendall. He runs all of the weight room stuff there under our name, and I do all of the Hilton High School.
Can you name some of those guys or girls that work for you?
Yeah, so our Hilton graduate, his name's Aaron Gibbs.
Mm-hmm.
He runs the entire weight room at our facility at Elmridge Center. And then the other one, his name is Matt Colucci.
Okay.
He is a Brockport baseball player, graduated a couple years ago, and he actually plays professional over the summer.
Okay.
So he plays a little bit of some indie baseball, pitcher, throws 94. He's a stud.
Mm-hmm.
So he has a good connection built with all those Kendall athletes, which is awesome, just because I let him do his thing. I just check up once in a while on him, but he runs that gym perfectly, and I couldn't have asked for a better person to run the place.
Also, Nick Milgate, a Hilton graduate, also was in the mix with you. Talk about him and what he did for you.
That's right. Yeah, Nick was our Hilton trainer last year. He ran a great weight room. Got those kids really strong, and he built, again, good connections with all of those athletes. And he was a fantastic person to have, just like it was to have Matt to run that weight room. Nick was just as good for the Hilton weight room. So fortunately enough for him, he was offered a job at Alfred University, his old college, to run that entire weight room as the head strength and conditioning coach. I tried my best to keep him around. Didn't really work out, but he's just a fantastic mind. He understands the importance of strength training, and he put some great programs together, as shown at Alfred. Her couple of those teams right now are having fantastic years, especially in the fall. Their football team went from a 3-8 team to, I think they went above 500, made it to a bowl game. So in just 1 year, I got to attribute that to a little bit to Nick and the strength program.
So with the you put on 15 pounds in college, so am I to think that it's not as much bulk, but it's strength that you're doing with these guys? Or
it depends kind of what. Yeah, so
let's say comparing a soccer team to a football team,
right?
How's the workout differ?
Yeah, so, and that's when we can niche things a little bit. Whereas football is gonna be more power, to the sense of heavier lifting, getting out of a squat based position, building that strength, that size, because their biggest thing is to, gain muscle. And that's the biggest thing as well for them is their diet, what they need to eat, how many calories they need to put in, protein intake as well.
Wanted to go through the diet.
Yeah.
I don't mean to stop you.
You're good.
Talk a little bit about a high school kid's diet, because I know high school kids
it's tough.
Don't always pay attention.
Right, it's tough. So that was why I gained my 15 pounds, because Skelly implemented onto me. He's like, all right, whenever you're done, you got to get at least your 3,500, 4,000 calories in, because, to build that muscle and move things around. So for high school athletes, especially 2-3 sport athletes, it's tough for them to let the body kind of relax and recover, just because they're going. If you're trying to put on size in the weight room, the diet is just the biggest thing that you could absolutely add on to improve your size and your strength. If you're a high school athlete and you don't wake up and have breakfast, you're already off to a bad start.
Okay.
You have to find a way to reset metabolism. You have to find a way to get at least 3, 4, 5 meals in the entire day. If I have my breakfast, that's meal 1. Now I go through 2 classes, have a protein bar. There's 400 calories right there. That's meal 2. Now I go to lunch. That's meal 3. Now I just finished the day. I have neither protein bar or protein shake. That's meal 4. Now I go and do my workout. And then I have to have my biggest meal after my workout, meal 5. And then I have a bedtime snack, meal 6. That's exactly the routine that I did. And if you're a high school athlete trying to improve your size and your strength, gotta find a way to get some calories in you. And their biggest thing is, I'm gonna get fit. No, you're not.
Right.
You're not. Promise you. Just because your body needs it for energy, you're ripping tissue. You need to find a way to restore that tissue, to build size, to build strength. If you're not taking care of your body in that process, you're not going to see much of an outcome.
Mm-hmm.
So very important for them to find a way to create as much calories that they can actually consume throughout the day. So it's very, very, very important.
Right, so I kind of interrupted you when
Yep.
we were talking about differing workouts for different sports. So we talked soccer versus power for football. So even like, do you train any kids for like distance running, track, all that?
Yep.
What's
So
that workout?
So for example, right now for track, we've done right now we're in a basic in-season training program. So in a sense of just trying to keep them healthy, movement right. But for off-season, what we would do is their distance runners would come in for half hour, 40 minutes, as opposed to the sprinters. So the distance runners were more of a shin splints kind of exercises there, just to maintain ankle mobility, better knee posture, better chest up, just overall better fitness levels, a little bit more low sets, high rep kind of vibes, whereas sprinters are more the intense, they're in and they're out. So we would kind of take the intensity up a little bit with them, trying to build a little bit more strength, unilateral exercises, not a single leg work, dynamic work, getting them moving around a little bit. And that's in that sense of they have to be quick twitch. So that's where we would differentiate programs between, I guess, like long distance runners there and the sprinters.
Yeah. Any jobs that you did in, high school that prepared you for this type of work? Or even just what type of jobs did you do, like, to make some extra money?
Growing up, I was a banquet server
Yeah.
at Mario's.
Okay.
On Monroe Ave there. It's not there anymore. And I guess for my job, the way that kind of built me up was being able to communicate with people,
Mm-hmm.
especially people a lot older than me, because we would work with a lot of weddings, so I had to deal with a lot of parents. So kind of getting how they would talk, building connections with them some way, somehow, just to make sure that they enjoyed their experience with us, kind of helped me build relationships with adults and parents. Today, having their kids come in, explaining what we're going to do, just the confidence level to talk to them, and go over a game plan of how we can improve their child as a better overall athlete.
Were you born in Rochester?
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
And mom's retired. What's she up to these days?
Mom is a full-time grandma for my
Full-time
sisters.
She liking it?
She's loving it.
We worked at the same location. She's always very pleasant lady,
Yes.
walking around, nice smile.
She's fantastic.
And Dad, you said it off camera, is going to be off in a couple of years, wrapping his business up.
Yep. Passing it along there, and then they're going to move south. So
Okay.
don't blame them.
Now, full time, or is it going to be like they're going to go down for the winter months?
They will be winter months. Yeah,
Okay.
winter months there, and then they'll come back here for the summertime.
What do you see the future of HD Performance? Where do you want to branch to? More locations, different type of vibe?
Yeah.
What do you want to do?
Well, it's a good question. I like what we're at right now. Our big end dream goal is to have our own facility.
Mm-hmm.
So we're not in a plaza. My main end goal, I want to say we're almost there, is find a piece of land, put a 20,000 square foot facility up, and just offer it to anybody in Rochester
Mhm.
to improve athletic performance. Not just athletic performance; it could be just fitness-based goals, functional training. Any adult that wants to partake in it. Right now, we have a great clientele of athletes. We improve their speed, their strength, their size, whatever it is that they want to improve on. We come up with a program for them. So that's the end goal, is to really take what we have in our 4,000 square foot facility and make it applicable to as many people in the Rochester area as we possibly can. So we're on track. We're in a good spot right now. I really have no complaints on where we are as a business.
Mm-hmm.
But there's always room to grow, and there's always room to improve. And I think the final step would be just taking everything that we're at now and putting it in somewhere in the Greece Hilton area, just because there's really not much on this west side, as opposed to on the east side, where you have multiple performance centers there. So giving the west side athletes an opportunity to improve their overall athletic ability, improve their strength, trying to really build them up and take them to the highest level that they can possibly play.
How has athletic training changed since when you were playing till now.
Yeah.
Because I remember when I was participating in '87 till now, it's rigor. It's very rigorous now.
Yeah. Yeah.
Talk about the training level that's required and how tough it is on the modern day athlete.
No, absolutely. It's a lot of new things have come into play since then. Our style of training is athletic based, obviously. So our goal is to, yes, improve strength and improve the, explosiveness, but we also want to improve, our knees, our joints, our ankles. We don't want to get injured as athletes. Right. So a lot of the training on that aspect as well is a lot of, prehab exercises to make sure we stay healthy as an athlete. Back in the day, you could bench, squat, deadlift all in one day for however many reps you want to do. But if you can't bend down and touch your toes, what are we doing? Right? So that's kind of my thing is if you're a high school athlete and you can't touch your toes, you're really not going to go very far because you're bound to get injured somehow. So that's where we take our athletic training program to. We're still going to stretch. We're still going to squat. We're going to bench. We're going to deadlift. But after we complete those main compound exercises, we're going to go into movement-based stuff. We're going to see how well you can explode out of a squat. We're going to see how well you can jump out as far as you can. We're going to see how quick you can be on one foot. Improving those fast twitch fibers inside the body and a body weight standpoint is only going to make you a better athlete. And it's tough for kids to see that just because it's not on the social media anymore. It's not. You don't see it on TikTok. You don't see these big time athletes doing the quick twitch stuff, so it's tough for them to buy into. I really enjoy, Derrick Henry's regiment, how he goes. I love Christian McCaffrey's. If you guys ever have time to watch a YouTube on any of them, their training style is what we try to implement to a T. Just movement based concepts just to improve athletic ability. And the end goal is to keep you as healthy as you possibly can.
So to not only healthy in season, but post athletic career.
Correct.
You're going to be able to walk in 25 years.
Absolutely. I mean, I'm 33 years old and I'm still walking around with demoing some of these exercises, and these high school kids really can't even, get to, my depth of squat. I got good mobile hips. I'm able to jump far, run fast. So it doesn't just make you a better athlete, but as you prolong and stick with it, I've been training like this for 10 years. The more that you can stay on top of it, you're only going to improve the athletic ability as your life kind of continues throughout. So that's my end goal.
Do you play other sports like tennis, golf, or anything like that, or you're just pretty much workout?
No, not really. I still play hockey. I still play hockey every Tuesday night at Lakeshore, and then over the summer I still play baseball. So me and a bunch of my buddies that I played at Brockport with, we're in our mid-30s. A couple of guys played pro. We're still playing 18-year-olds and, competing with them and still enjoying it. So finding a way to stay young and stay moving is the ultimate goal until I turn 60 or in a wheelchair. Yeah,
right.
That's the best thing we could do.
Well, I got a few more fun questions, and then I'll let you be. Do you have a favorite food? I'm sure it's healthy.
No, it's not healthy.
Oh, no?
Oh, my gosh. I can have pizzas.
Pizzas?
7 days a week.
Yeah.
Wow. I try my best not to.
Yeah.
But some days.
Do you like to make your own, or do you got a couple of joints that you...
Oh, DiGiorno. DiGiorno is super easy. I think I have 3 in my fridge right now. Yeah. Yeah, we just restocked.
Does your wife work late, so you have to get your own meals?
She works till 8.
Okay.
So she'll come home and make some dinner at 8:30. We have late dinners. So setting up a meal plan on that aspect, eating so late, it's not ideal, but she's actually a pretty good cook too. So nice. Yeah, so she'll make some good healthy meals.
I forgot to ask, where'd you honeymoon?
Oh my gosh, yeah, we went to Greece.
Wow,
let me tell you.
Really?
We're gonna talk about some good food.
Yeah. Did you put on weight while you were there, or did you work out?
I had a 2-week vacation and lose weight. I lost 3 pounds.
Really?
Yep.
Now, was it the food was so good, or did you did sightsaw? Did so much sightseeing?
No, we did a lot of touring. Okay. We definitely did. We did a lot of walking. But their food over there, they don't use anything artificial. It's all as organic as it can get. We even went to a cooking class one day when we were in Santorini. Yeah, just to see how they did it. And I'm like, we could make all this at home. There was 0 added sugar, 0 added whatever, and it was fantastic. It was so good. So their food there is about as natural as it can get. So I didn't feel didn't feel bloated. I didn't feel stuffed. I didn't feel groggy. I felt great and energized there. It was
You're gonna live.
unbelievable experience.
You're gonna live to you're like 100. Does your wife, is she an athlete as well?
She was, yeah. So she's a soccer player, so she'll still play on her leagues. She plays on Mondays.
Okay.
Yep. So staying active.
Nice.
Yeah.
Do you watch movies much? And if you do, you got a favorite movie or two?
We're not movieers. We're Netflixers.
So you can bring that up.
Yep. We just finished Suits, all 9 seasons.
Okay.
So we watched that for a good 3-4 months, and then it's our nighttime regiment. So she gets home, we make dinner, we watch an episode or two. We just started The Lincoln Lawyer. So kind of the same thing.
Explain the plot there.
So kind of like Suits, where it's a lawyer who gets himself. He's a public defender though, so he defends the criminals, and he finds loopholes in the system, and then it obviously makes the community upset. Some people that he defends shouldn't be defended, so on and so forth. So it makes for a pretty good drama and pretty intense.
Yeah, I can say I binge watch shows with my wife, and it is a nice way to end the day and kind of have some fellowship with your wife.
Exactly. It's just a way for us to stay connected, really. The only times we have together is the morning. We'll go to the gym. She goes to work. I go to work. We come back in the evening. Dinner and Netflix.
And she's a good cook too.
Great cook.
That's great.
Great cook.
Are you a book reader, or any quotes that stick out in your mind?
Not so much a book reader. My buddies did put me on to a book called Rich Dad Poor Dad. So it's just a mindset of understanding the business and finance stuff of, what kind of person do you want to be? So that was a number 1 book recommended for anybody listening. If you want to change
Dad, Poor Dad?
Rich Dad, Poor Dad. Yeah.
Do you listen to it okay, this is bad. Do you listen to it on tape, or do you have to read
audiobooks?
Okay, audiobooks.
Yeah.
Because I kind of like
podcasts. Yeah. A lot of podcasts.
Podcasts?
There we go.
Favorite teams, any sport that you want to talk? Sabres, one of your teams?
Yeah, all Buffalo teams.
Okay.
So Sabres, Bills, of course. And then I'm a Yankees fan.
Me too.
Not so much a Soto fan at the moment.
Yeah. It was a tough World Series, but
tough World Series, and then just kind of losing him should be an interesting one next year. But
did they lose Soto? Did he go?
Yeah, he did. He went to the Mets for $5 million more.
He's staying in the same city.
Same city. Yep. So that should make for some unique rivalries moving forward.
This is a dumb question, but I think you're going to answer. What's your favorite leisure activity?
My favorite
besides working out.
Well, I'll tell you, doing stuff with my niece, really. So like even this weekend we have coming up, we're doing Christmas with Santa.
How old is she?
She's 3.
Okay.
And then my sister's new daughter, Michaela, she's 2 months old.
Okay.
So kind of doing stuff with them, and then family time on Sundays is an absolute must. So weekends I kind of take the time to be with the family.
It kind of sounds the way you would like to have a family in the future, maybe.
Yeah.
Does your wife come from a family of decent size or whatever?
Yeah. Yep. So she does. Yeah. Her father's still the wrestling coach where she's from.
Which is where?
So she's from a small town up north called Lowville.
I've never heard of it, but he's a wrestling coach?
Yeah.
Okay.
He's a wrestling coach there. Mom used to be a town court judge.
Okay.
So she's very stern and very scary. Sorry, sorry, Christy.
I wonder if that's where your wife gets the law enforcement.
Yeah. So
background.
I would say so. Just in the sense that her father is an aggressive guy there being wrestling, but the mom is the stern one. She's the one that, sorry, Darren, she's the one that wears the pants.
Yeah. Happy wife, happy life. With that, I think women, no, I'm sorry. It's going to sound whatever, but females know what's best for the family.
Yes, you are not wrong.
Learn that at a young age. You've been married, 2 months or whatever?
Strong.
If you could have dinner with a famous person, alive or dead, who would it be and why?
Who would I want to have a dinner with? That's a good question. Well, going back to my idol, I'd have to say Derek Jeter, just because of his long track record, just his track record of where he grew up, and what he did as a baseball player would be pretty remarkable. The other person, this is a weird one. My goalie idol. His name's Dominic Hasek.
Oh, I remember. Is he still alive?
I think so.
He was a Sabre. No,
Sabre. He was a Sabres stud for forever, and then he bounced around to some other teams, kind of ending the career. But he's great. Just
Yeah.
kind of pick his brain. Doesn't speak much English, so I don't know what we're talking about.
Goalies are a different breed. I mean,
Right.
that ball or that puck coming at you
Yeah,
hundreds of miles an hour.
yeah, him. But he was the one. He was known for the sprawling all over the place. He
Mhm.
could do the splits, but he would do like a cartwheel to make a save. It was just unbelievable.
Yeah.
So idolizing him as a hockey goalie was pretty astounding there. So both my idols, Jeter and Hasek, would be
Okay.
pretty cool to have dinner with.
I never asked anybody this, but any other recommendations I could have for podcast guests that you can think of?
Oh, let's see.
I mean, you've given me a couple, like John Schwinn,
Yeah.
possibly Jeff Allen, because I see him as a base or football official.
Yeah.
Anybody else you could think of?
Um,
Nick, you know, like,
yeah, Nick Milgate would be a great one. Just kind of his journey, kind of going through the Hilton system as well.
I already had Ori me, so that's all
you had Ori.
care.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, Ori. That he is Hilton.
Well,
you know,
you don't have to think. I put you on the spot.
Yeah.
But you could probably come up with something off
very
the
easy,
air.
buddy.
Well, Dan, it's how long we've been talking. It's been
Right.
great. I learned a lot of new things about you, and that's why I like to do these podcasts because I like to learn things about people. I consider it's like sitting next to somebody at a bar and just getting people to talk about
Catching up,
themselves.
yeah.
And you're an interesting person, and I think you got a lot going for you.
Great. Thank you so much.
I
No,
wish
it's
you
been a
good
pleasure.
luck, and wish you good luck in your marriage.
Yeah, thank you.
And say hi to your mom,
I will. You bet.
Dan
Thanks so
Hurlimann.
much.
Thanks for being here.
Appreciate it.
The Big H Podcast, tune in now. Conversations that'll wow. Laugh and learn, stay a while. Let's explore that Hilton style. From the highs to the lows, every story just explodes. Mike's got questions on the go, diving deep from head to toe. Every week the guests align, sharing moments so divine. Stay with us, the pace is fine. Every episode you'll find